And that is why, bring it all back, that's why you need to have some gold. Gold is what is going to preserve your wealth through whatever rough seas lie ahead. And I'm pretty sure that there are some rough seas, and I'm pretty sure that they're coming our way.
Welcome to Proven and Probable, where we deliver mining insights and bullion sales in the form of physical delivery, offshore depositories, and private blockchain distributed ledger technology.
Welcome to Proven and Probable. I'm your host, Maurice Jackson. Today we will seek to discover the true price of gold and silver and prospect generators. Joining us for a conversation is Byron King of Agora Financial, along with Dr. John Mark Stuade of Riverside Resources. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Greetings. Hello. It's good to be with you.
Super to be on the show.
Well, I hope you're both doing well. Mr. King, I'd like to begin with you, sir. Bloomberg issued a press release recently that Bank of America expects gold to reach $3,000, which is a 50% increase from its record. In your opinion, is this a realistic number, or was Bank of America being far too generous or conservative?
I think Bank of America is on track. I don't think there's any question that we'll see 3,000. As with all things in life, it's just a question of how long it'll take. But when you say that gold will be $3,000, that means that the U.S. dollar will be dropping in value relative to gold by quite a bit. I mean, about 50% from almost where it is now. It's like if it's at 1,700 now, it has to move that extra 1,300, up to get to 3,000, which implies a decrease in value of the dollar relative to gold, because gold is the inverse of the value of the dollar. So there's plenty inside that comment, but let's keep going, because we're here to talk with John Mark as well.
Well, John Mark, what are your thoughts regarding Bank of America's gold price expectations?
Byron's right. It's always about time, but I've never seen so much creation of new money. The COVID has given an opportunity to kind of pop bubbles that maybe already existed. And now I'm getting checks in the mail as a U.S. person for just breathing. And it's pretty amazing. If I get free money, I don't get free gold. So I see gold as a hard, real asset, and that I think is worth a lot more money. And also it's very difficult to get it out of the ground and find it. So I think companies that have it, or companies that can develop it, have great value.
Oh, that's a great perspective. They're not getting free gold. I like that one. Byron, can you provide us with some insight as to what is going on in the precious metal space as a whole?
In the precious metal space as a whole, plenty is going on. I mean, demand is going up because you can view gold really as a barometer of people's trust in government. And right now, I think a lot of people's trust in government is about this big, this much, And so when people distrust government, when they distrust the fundamental currency of their government, gold tends to go up. In the gold space globally, in pretty much every currency of the world, gold has already set records. I mean, it's setting record prices in euros, in Russian rubles, in Chinese yuan, British pounds, Japanese yen. The only currency that it hasn't really broken through previous highs into new records is the U.S. dollar, and that has to do with the dollar's role as the world's reserve currency. A lot of people across the world owe immense levels of debt, and the only way to pay that debt is denominated in dollars. They need to get dollars, so they're selling stuff to move to dollars so they can pay their debt. That's one aspect of it. That's sort of the monetary aspect of it. At the practical side of things, there's immense demand for everything from little 1 ounce coins and what have you that are practically sold out. The U.S. Mint is charging $400, $500 premiums over spot for gold coins, all the way up to to the big bullion bars that people trade in international. Those have all sorts of shortage issues over the breakdown in global commerce, the fact that there's very little airline trafficking. I mean, to move gold from London to New York, or from New York to Switzerland, or whatever, people are chartering airplanes just to put a bunch of gold bars on the airplanes instead of people. And then another angle you have to look at this is that across the world, many mines gold mines specifically, but gold, silver, copper, copper, lead, zinc that has a gold, takeoff from it. Those mines are throttled back. I think something like 30% of the world's copper mining right now is either shut in completely or dramatically scaled back. And that is also reflected in the gold mining, just because of mines that have issues with the virus problem, sick workers, or else they can't get things they need from they can't get the fuel or the explosives or the chemicals, whatever they need, from the port up to the mine, just because the roads are closed. You can't travel.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are not considering the supply chain constraints when you're discussing what's going on in the space. And Mr. King, you've seen the up and down in the markets in the past. Is this one different in terms of the government devaluing the currency?
I hate to say this time it's different, but yeah, this time's different. I mean, I've been around for a while, according to my driver's license. I've been around for some years here, and I've seen governments do really stupid things, monetarily, politically, economically, militarily over the years. I've seen some really stupid things happen. But right now, I mean, they've just basically opened the valves on the dam of stupid monetary and economic ideas, and it's all being done out of true desperation. I mean, when we say, the government's sending checks out to everybody, yeah, and they should, because we have 26 million people in the United States who are freshly unemployed, and we have to do something, and the only idea that they can implement quickly is to send everybody a check, and the heck with the monetary aspects. I hope at some point, that things start to clear up and clarify, and we can resolve and start to, fix what's broken. But man, oh man, this is stupidity squared in terms of, what governments ought to do versus what they are doing.
Yeah, we've discussed the price of bullion. What is your outlook, Mr. King, on mineral exploration with an increase in gold and silver prices, and how do you see the summer and the latter part of 2020 going?
Oh man, that's about 4 or 5 questions here. How do I see the summer? I see, first of all, in the space out there, in the company space, I see a lot of great companies ranging from really big guys, the BHP Billotons of the world and the Rio Tintos of the world, all the way down to small juniors such as Riverside and many others. A lot of these companies, from the small to the big, were smart enough and nimble enough to capitalize up in the last 6 or 8 months, in the lead up to before the current calamity. So a lot of these companies have some money, but not just money. They got people with ideas, and so they have a drilling program, they have an exploration program, they have development programs. So the companies that are well positioned to move forward will move forward to the extent that they can. It's very just dependent on the jurisdiction. In Canada, for example, if you go to the Yukon, which is a very large mineral exploration area, I mean, it's a 14-day quarantine. You don't just fly up to Whitehorse, go visit a site, jump on the plane the next day or two and come back. No. You go to Whitehorse, you're going to spend 14 days in a hotel with them sliding pizzas onto the door for you, so, and before you get to go to work. And other places in the world have similar aspects. The thing is that once you're there, once you're on the ground and you've got your teams and your crews, and if you can keep the bug out of your mining camp, you can explore, you can drill, you can map, you can do geophysics, you can do a lot of things. You got issues in terms of moving, say, let's say you drill some core, you crush it, you bag it, you send it to the lab. You got just logistical issues in sending it to the lab terning it around. Maybe the lab is slow, but I think there are a lot of exploration things that are happening and going to happen in the near term. In terms of who's doing well, if you have an operating project and you have the virus issues under control, you are making money hand over fist. And if you're not, there's something wrong. If you have an operating gold mine that can either pour out the gold doré bars or come up with a concentrate or something, there's a market for that, as long as you can, again, logistically get it from where you are to where it needs to be. And that again has issues that have to do with aircraft availability, truck and driver availability, the availability. I mean, oil is cheap, fuel is cheap if you can get it. if you're in the wrong place and they can't deliver the fuel from the terminal to the to the gas station or the fueling station, that makes problems. But that's maybe a more detailed answer than you're looking for. That's how I'm looking at the gold space. I have a very positive view of it for the right companies with money and good management teams, and again working in the right sort of spots.
John Mark, Riverside Resources exemplifies many of the virtues that Mr. King just alluded to. How is Riverside prepared for this situation?
We were lucky. We were already working virtually in terms of we had teams working off-site and not a big office setting. Secondly, we have guys on the ground. What Byron is saying is correct, that you have these 14-day quarantines. Well, we already have the team in place. In fact, right now, some of those guys are still able to work in their local communities and where they live and work is the project sites. I think the third thing is we have big partners. Having a partner like BHP, as Byron said, we're able to operate and act for them in the field, doing field work and doing programs. And we're delighted. We have regular meetings with them all virtually, and we're able to have the guys on the ground to do the programs.
Byron, with a rising gold price, are more generalist investors basically taking notice and flowing into the mining space? And if yes, where is a good starting point for them to consider when looking for good value propositions and exploration?
Well, the answer is yes. A lot of people were very badly burned, with their, with sort of the traditional market kind of things that they were doing up until, late February, early March. And then by mid-March, when, the big crashes came, a lot of people watched their IRAs and their 401ks just absolutely, fall off of a cliff. And, some people, did the wrong thing. They sold at the bottom, just sort of out of panic. There's been some recovery, but a very, very significant recovery has happened in the gold and the gold mining space. If you're new to the business, unless you really are a fast study, you want to be careful about getting into the junior space if you don't know what you're doing. And I say that, with my dear friend John Mark Stuade here, who runs the junior. But I mean, I think I don't want to put words in your mouth, Mark, but I think you'd agree with me. If an investor out there doesn't understand what this is all about, be very, very careful. Doesn't mean don't go into gold. Physical gold, if you don't have some, get some. I mean, we're just talking about $3,000 gold and it's at $1,700. So in the sense that you can go to certain physical dealers and buy a coin or buy a small ingot or start to build your stash, that's probably not a bad idea to preserve some wealth. In terms of other things, there are mutual funds that focus on the gold mining space, some better than others, but a lot of those gold mining focused mutual funds have done very, very well. I mean, there's one. I'll just give you the number. OGMIX. It's up 50% since March 18th. I mean, it had a nasty crash to get there, but it's recovered nicely. OGMIX, OGMIX. There are many others, though. Some of the ETFs are pretty good. Anything with the name Sprott in front of it, SPROTT, the Sprott Gold Miners, Sprott Junior Gold Miners, probably a good way to get in there. There are the big miners, Barrick, Newmont, those big names, if you want to pick stocks. Companies that are probably going to do very, very well in the next few months, especially in rising gold prices, are some of the royalty companies. And they range in size from, really, really big guys like Franco-Nevada to smaller guys, very well run like Metalla, but terrific royalty companies. Then you start to get into the intermediates and then you get into the juniors. And if you're not used to that space, that's a very dangerous space to walk into, because while there's really a lot of upside on some of these risky plays, there's a whole lot of downside too. When you say, oh, look, it's a 10-cent stock, how low can it go? Well, it can go to zero, but it can go to 1 cent. But at the same time, some of those 10-cent stocks are going to be $5 stocks too.
Byron, you and I visited John Mark in Mexico and reviewed some of Riverside's property bank. And I'd like to find out from you, what do you recall from that experience?
Several things. First of all, visiting Mexico with John Mark is worth the trip just to spend time with John Mark. I say this when he's sitting here, I'm going to embarrass him, but he's just a wealth of knowledge. He's been studying Mexico. He's been studying the Western U.S. for years and years and years. He doesn't look nearly old enough to have done this, but it's true he did. So first of all, you go on a field trip with John Mark and you come back with a master's degree in John Markdom, and you are geologically much smarter than you used to be. That's one of the things I remember. Other things I remember, and we were talking about this before Riverside made their deal with BHP to become the exploration, partner in Mexico for BHP. But John Mark has this list of things, of names of places that are all worthwhile exploration opportunities or development opportunities. A couple of the I remember one particular one just south of the U.S. border with Arizona. Can I say the name? I'll just Cecilia. I'm in love with Cecilia. A beautiful play, gorgeous geologically situated. Other places, we were driving along this one area, going to this one exploration site. I'll let John Mark tell the whole story, but I mean, when you look out the window of the truck as you're driving along, just sort of bouncing around on this gravel road, and the gravel is made out of is green, and you look down and you say, "Gee, why is the gravel green?" You say, "Well, it's because it's made out of malachite." Well, not pure malachite, but I mean, it's enough malachite to you're driving over perfectly good ore, to get to the exploration zone. So right away, I'm thinking, oh man, there's something here. So those are some of the things that I remember. It's just John Mark personally, John Mark, professionally, some of these fabulous locales that he's been able to stake out and claim for the company over the years. And now he's partnered up with BHP, which has, a nice deep pocket to write, write big checks for good projects, of which there are many.
John Mark, what is the advantage that prospect generators, and in particular Riverside Resources, have in the current climate of mineral exploration, and especially as it relates to COVID-19?
Well, I think first thing is the prospect generators have a portfolio, so it's not betting on one project. So as COVID-19 and these other things are causing problems, they're not necessarily homogeneous everywhere. And so there's opportunities. I think the second thing for the prospect generator is they're usually partnered. As we've mentioned, we're partnered with other companies. So they're not going off their balance sheet. The third thing is, they have quality projects. They're projects that other people are funding and working on. So they must have something of interest to allow those people to wish to do it. And so they've done the due diligence. And for us, we've been project generators working with Antofagasta, Cliffs, Offshore, and now with BHP. So we've had good projects. And I think the opportunity is that go with a group that has good projects in this market, you have a really good chance for success.
John Mark, what are a couple of the key mineral exploration objectives Riverside is progressing during the COVID-19 social distancing?
I think one of the key things is our spin out of Capitan Mining, which is going well. We actually had the AGM, and now we've had the approval through the BC courts. Now we're working for the TSX listing and the financing. With gold price going up is really great because that's what Capitan is. It's an open pit gold project that Riverside owns. So that's one of the big things we've been doing. The other thing is working with BHP. On that, we've been able to move ahead with programs. And the third is we're working on some new deals. Having people at home has been great. You're able to call them and do lots of business. Usually it's hard to catch people. They're on planes or running around the meetings. We're able to have lots of meetings on Zoom and Skype in different ways to go over data. And we're able to do a number of term sheets. So we look forward to having more deals announced in the coming months.
All right, in closing, Mr. King, what keeps you up at night that we don't know about?
Well, there's a lot of doubt about just where the economy is going. I mean, the virus is a medical issue. It's an epidemiological issue. I mean, if you've paid the slightest bit of attention to it, you've probably gotten a lot smarter about biology and medicine and epidemiology than you were a month ago. But then we have the whole, and I want to say that matter will resolve. I mean, this is a bug. It is a virus. It's not the world-killing plague that's going to wipe out humanity or anything. But it has accelerated a lot of trends that were sort of in motion that may have occurred, but now they're all, jamming us right in the face. Everything you can think of I mean, from the idea that, that your local school is now online, colleges are online, the kids are home from school or what have you. I mean, we've completely changed education. We've completely changed the idea that millions, tens of millions of people are working from home. I mean, that's going to change the real estate business. The idea that so much change is happening so quickly, there are so many unknowns and just sort of pieces of fallout from that are going to occur. And so I think about, where is all this going? Now, considering, what I do and with much of my time, which is I spend my time doing geology, worrying about the minerals and mining business, whatever, I'm thinking about this in terms of what does this mean in terms of mines and minerals? I mean, does the world still need copper, gold, silver, lead, zinc, rare earth minerals, all these sort of things? Well, the answer is yes, it does, and so the question is how will the area that I, am knowledgeable about, how will it adapt? And so in terms of, thinking about, about the future, I mean, these mining companies like, Riverside, people like John Mark, I mean, there are other companies out there. I mean, I want these companies to be successful. I want these gentlemen to succeed, and these gentle ladies, there's some women in the business too. I want these people to succeed. I want them to do well. And the question is, in the economy that has evolved, with millions of unemployed and the government just, spending money like it's the Niagara Falls of dollar bills or something, I mean, what is all that going to do to the whole financial and economic underpinnings of what I'll say we, because I'm a geo too, but what we do out there in the field, which is real science, real geology, because this has to work, because I mean, a lot of the trends that were coming before, not enough copper, not enough rare earths, not enough battery metals, technology metals, all those things are going to be there on the other side of this virus issue. So in terms of myself, in terms of what I think about and worry about, I worry about that a lot. I do stay up late or wake up in the middle of the night, thinking about, what's the next idea here.
John Mark, what keeps you up at night that we don't know about?
For me, I really think that we feel the supplement, the sky is falling, that things are so bad, but really, it's to me, I feel that we're getting through this well. We've flattened the curve, and so I hope that people will realize that with context, things will go ahead, and we actually do have business and continues to go, particularly in the mining sector. What keeps me up at night is people are forgetting that we actually need to mine, and that's a vital thing to do. But I'm disappointed that in certain jurisdictions we're not allowing the mining to go forward, because it is vital. And I think that's something that we can do to produce resources for the planet that'll make the planet stronger. And we definitely will need those to grow the economic rebound that we're up for.
Last question, Dr. Stuade, what did I forget to ask?
Oh, you've asked a lot, and this is great. But I think one thing is, from Riverside's standpoint, is we really look forward to talking to shareholders. So please come and reach us out at our website. Please call us. And also, we're very keen on communicating online. So we'd love to communicate with people if anyone wants to send us any emails or visit our website.
And Dr. Stuade, what is that website?
It's RIVRES.com.
Mr. King, what did I forget to ask?
Well, in a very mercenary sort of way, you forgot to ask me what newsletter I write. And the answer to that is I write a newsletter called Whiskey and Gunpowder. I work with a group called Agora Financial. And so you want to go to Agora Financial, AGORA Financial, .com, and you'll find your way to, it's actually a free e-letter, so it doesn't even cost you anything. It's not even one of those $59 a year things. But it's a free e-letter. It's called Whiskey and Gunpowder. And then on a more serious note, the one thing that we did not discuss, although I guess we mentioned it a little bit, you got to keep an eye on the energy industry. Right now, there is a price war going on. Saudi Arabia has decided to flood the world with oil. There's 200 million barrels just floating around on tankers out there. Not long ago, we saw the price of oil go negative for West Texas Intermediate. The U.S. and Canadian energy industries are being completely, totally, utterly wrecked, by this price war. And the longer it lasts, the more the carnage. And what you want to be really careful about and worry about to some extent is what is the global energy industry going to look like on the other side of this current economic situation? Are we all going to go back to the good old days of relying on the Middle East for our oil? And then the other angle to this is that the petrodollar, which, the U.S. dollar is the world's reserve currency, is under extreme threat with the breakdown of international oil markets. I mean, breaking down international oil is another way of breaking down the petrodollar. And when the petrodollar fails as a monetary instrument in the world, notice I said when it fails, because I'm not sure how you can fix it from here, we are in for a really wild ride. If you think this wild ride is wild, man, the next wild ride is going to be worse. And that is why, bring it all back, that's why you need to have some gold. Gold is what is going to preserve your wealth through through whatever rough seas lie ahead. And I'm pretty sure that there are some rough seas, and I'm pretty sure that they're coming our way.
And speaking of gold, before you make your next bullion purchase, make sure you call me. I'm a licensed representative for Miles Franklin Precious Metals Investments, where we provide a number of options to expand your precious metals portfolio, from physical delivery to offshore depositories and precious metal IRAs. Call me directly at 855-505-1900, or you may email Maurice@milesfranklin.com. Finally, we invite you to subscribe to Proven and Probable.com, where we provide mining insights and bullion sales. Gentlemen, I'd like to thank you both for your time, and I look forward to speaking with you in the near future.
The information presented on Proven and Probable is provided for educational and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice, or any other advice. You should not make any financial, investment, or trading decision based on any of the information presented without first undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or competent financial advisor.